This is the McLaren 570 GT. It's the third car in McLaren Sport Series, and it's designed to be a little bit different to the 570S. It's a bit more friendly, it's a bit softer, and it's geared up for touring. But the biggest change, which I'm sure you'll have already noticed, is that it's got a boot. But before we get onto that, first let's just talk performance figures. In here is a 3.8 litre twin-turbo V8 that puts out 562 brake horsepower, 443 pound-foot of torque, and can get 26.6 mpg on the combined cycle.
Such is the trend towards turbocharging now that competitors like the AMG GT use a twin-turbo V8, while the Porsche 911 Turbo S a twin-turbo flat 6.
Although we can't show you it because it's hidden underneath all this leather, underneath here is basically the same motor as the one found in the 570S. That motor has 50% new internals over the engine found in the 650S. It gives you a 0 to 62 mile per hour time of 3.4 seconds. It's 3.1 in the 570S because that car's a little bit lighter. A 0 to 124 mile per hour time of 9.8 seconds and a top speed of 204 miles an hour. Now, if you want to play top trumps, the new 911 Turbo S does 205 miles per hour. Another change over the 570S is the exhaust. The exhaust on the 570 GT is actually 3 decibels quieter than the exhaust found on the 570S, but if you want a bit of extra noise, you can option a sports exhaust. The other change is obviously those flying buttresses that you found on the 570S have gone because of the rear boot. So in order to get the same aero, they've added this fixed rear spoiler here. As standard, this car comes on cast iron discs, but you can, of course, option carbon ceramics should you so desire. Now, just for comparison purposes, things like the AMG GT, they come on the same sort of cast iron discs as well. You can have carbon ceramics on that, but an Audi R8 V10 Plus has carbon ceramics as standard. At the rear, you've got a 20-inch wheel shod in Pirelli P0s, and then at the front, you've got a 19-inch wheel shod in Pirelli P0s. You can't option this car on any particularly ultra-high performance tyres, but the P0s in this do have a special noise isolating compound in them to help with touring driving. But for argument's sake, McLaren does do things like the 675LT, which has Trofeo Rs as standard. McLaren's done something quite clever with this tendon design that they fitted to the side of the car here. Now what this does is help feed air into this intake here, both across the top of the mirror and down through here and across here. Also, it looks really good, and it hides the door handle, which is underneath here. So I'm sat in McLaren's carbon fibre monocell 2. It has lowered sills here, so it's easier to get in and out of. Above me is a plexiglass roof, which has the same tint as the McLaren P1.
In front of me is McLaren's TFT digital instrument cluster. Designed to offer up different information based on whatever driving mode the car is set to, it changes when the click wheels on the active dynamics panel are moved. Clicking through the settings for the handling will alter the dash to show different information, with the final track mode showing a P1 style hockey puck. The steering wheel has shift paddles on either side to control McLaren's 7-speed dual clutch seamless shift gearbox.
The setup on the 570 GT is a little bit different to the 570S. Spring rates are down 15% on the front and 10% at the rear, and that's basically to help with ride quality over poor surfaces and make the car a bit more comfortable. The car weighs 1,350 kg, that's 37 kilos heavier than the 570S Coupe. That's due to things like extra sound deadening and obviously all this leather, but it is worth noting that that is still really, really light. Nothing in this price bracket really offers a full carbon fibre tub. The Huracan and the R8 V10 Plus do have a kind of hybrid carbon fibre aluminium construction, but this is the only car with a full carbon fibre tub. And you've got all the extra boot space that the GT brings. So behind me, you've got 220 litres of space, and in the front you've got another 150 litres. That means that in total, this car actually has more boot space than a Ford Focus.
McLaren clearly has big ambitions for its more affordable Sport Series, and this, the 570 GT, is no exception. We can't wait to have our first road trip in it.
If you've enjoyed today's Evo Unwrapped, make sure you subscribe to Evo's YouTube channel for more videos in the future.
Click on the left to watch our Mercedes AMG GT leaderboard video, or on the right to watch Evo Unwrapped on the M4 GTS.